Hello, and welcome to part two of MuscleModelCars.com. We were speaking about the Mach 1, the James Bond vehicle for the 1971 Mach 1 of the movie Diamonds Are Forever. I left off with the um, detailing you about all the parts that needed to be painted. So what I wanted to also tell you is that with this instruction manual on for the vehicle right here, as you can see, it has the logo of the 1970 Mustang Mach 1. If you look at the bottom here, you see the legend right here. Okay, and in this legend, it's a color-coded key, a color key on all the parts to which I just showed you in the previous movie, as you can see with the numbers. Okay. Now, the thing with this is you have options with it, with the bills, and you have to determine how you want it. Um, I told you about the seat factory that came with the factory, but if you want to turn into a stock car, then of course there's a stock car seat, but you only get one because stock cars are for racing, and you wouldn't need two seats. Also, what we have is I wanted to tell you about was the chrome finishes on here, which would be different pieces that's going to go on your engine and on the body itself. So let's see what we can do here. If you look at this, a lot of this you'll see has different numbers and everything. So the color code on these, and you'll see also the parentheses has letters in there. Those that pertains to the key that's here. So that tells you what color you want to put it. Depends upon how intricate you want it to be. Okay. So with that, I can tell you for sure that this is more detailed than the last one, which if you saw us doing the 57 Dirty Dancing movie car, which was more of a snap type vehicle, that this car has a lot more parts and pieces to it. Okay. And you have to be really patient with it, let them dry before you try to connect them. If you want to try to make it as accurate looking as a real vehicle. Some people don't care. I do, but that's up to you. Okay. So with that, I'm going to move on to the chrome parts. But this is your best friend while you're doing it. Keep it. Don't let it get torn up, stained, or anything. Uh, and what I wanted to show you is the chrome pieces that you don't have to spray paint or paint with a paintbrush or anything. All of this is taken care of unless you just want it black or something like that, the rims or whatever. But in the movie, these hubcaps were on that Mach 1 in the movie, okay? This here. And this rear, back here, this portion of it on the rear end was black, and of course your tail lights here. And with the trademark type of that you know it's a Mustang with the three lights on each side of the vehicle in the rear. And then you got your front fan, of course. These are the this looks like the alternator right here, and then you got the other pieces that would go. These pieces here to me look like, I have to look at the instructions, but like these pieces here looks as though they would go on top of the engine. If we cut out that part, the square part on the hood, and put in that lower profile intake manifold, these here looks like, because there's six of them, so I'd imagine this is a six cylinder, and it's indicating that these would be on the top. And as you look at them, they high rise and they rise out of the hood to give you that real nice look and detail when that hood is closed. So uh, the movie car didn't have that. It was like a factory build, but it still had the muscle underneath. But if you wanted to customize it, this would have been something you could do, which is cut out the hood and then that square that I showed you, and then you would get the uh, intake manifold necessary to install these six pieces of chrome pipe, chrome exhaust or intake, if you want to call it. So, with that, you also have, of course, the trademark chrome, all the chroming that you would see on the vehicle um, for the different parts. You know, this would be in the valve covers, the engine block cover, the head covers, the different gauges and bumpers right here. This is that high rise intake manifold I told you about. Blow, for like if it, a blower or whatever you want to call it. Then you got the fan here. Okay, so those are the options I was telling you about. The fan, as you can see, um, there are different ways to build this particular model. Okay, and of course, instead of the other ones that I could have put on, that you had the option that could be painted a different color. You got the chrome ones to give it a really nice look for the sway bars or the stabilizing type of bars here. If you took off, and this keeps the bottom of the vehicle from scraping the ground where the gas tank is, this is installed because if you pop a woolie, that kept these kept the back end from touching the ground. Okay, so that was definitely necessary for these high-powered engines that they installed in the 70s. I think now these Hellcats that and Mopar, they're trying to get back into it, but even these electronic vehicles, still to me, I'm old school with the power factor of it. I mean, there's progress is progress, so I get that. But if you just want something that's really fun and something you can work on that doesn't take a degree in electronics and everything, then that works pretty much on the basic principle of a mechanical engine. Then this type of stuff is what's going on is what I like in a real vehicle, in real muscle. Okay, not I know you can get up to 1,000 uh, horsepower or whatever a Hellcat is these days. I know it started off in the 700s. Now it might be up to 1,000. Now they're competing with the. Now you got the electronic with the electric vehicles. They can get to I don't know 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. A vet or something. I don't. I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not knocking it, but me personally, a true muscle car is something that you have to achieve mechanically. I know progress has its pluses, but also it has its minuses. You can't work on the on these cars these days. Everything has a sensor. Your car cut off if you turn a corner too fast. So, me personally, I just I have a car that has a lot of sensors on it, but it's a newer vehicle. But the point is, with a sensor, you should be able to replace it, and that should solve your problem. If you had it back in the day, a sensor that just needed, like your water, like your thermostat in your water, in your engine. If your car is overheating, you go buy a different thermostat and call it a day. Okay. Um, Now, if you sensor senses the airflow is too rich, too lean, then you got all kinds of lights that come on in your car and it won't go off, and now you can't pass emissions. And then now, so it's all, in my opinion, it can get to a point where it's a game of trying to beat the system of sensors. Okay, everything has a sensor. The car, to open it, the air, in the way manual uh, manual vents would have been fine. Now it's a sensor to open it, and if the sensor senses something wrong, it puts a check engine light on. And now when you go to get your engine emissions, now that light is on and their machines are detecting something's wrong with your engine when it's just a sensor. And it's crazy. Now you got to spend $500,000 to get a sensor fixed that costs $2.50. Okay, back in the day you didn't have all that problem. So sometimes progress has its pluses, but it does have its minuses. So anyway, if you don't know how to work on a car, then you better learn real quick, or else these sensor type cars will keep your pockets pretty low. Okay. Okay, and that's my soapbox message, and I'll leave it alone. But anyway, this back to the message. You got the chrome oil pan down here, so I'm going to try to do this as much accuracy with as much accuracy as possible, and then I'm going to try to finish up with the tires here, and I'm gonna let you go and get busy. These are the tires that were on the car in the movie. They were white walls, 70s, meaning the thickness of them were 70s. Okay, and so they're not fat, but they're not 50, 55s. I mean, you know, they're not the real skinny ones that would be on a regular vehicle back in the day, back in the 70s. They're a little bit wider, being 70s. Those are more, a little bit thicker than the 55s or the 50. That Okay. Let me just say it this way: you had three kind of back in the day categories of tires. 50s being real wide, 60s being a little smaller. And then 70s being, 70s and then 60s. So, you had three different ranges, and all of that corresponded to the thickness, okay, of as far as the width of the tire, you know. And so, depending upon what you like, me personally, I think dragsters had all the wide 50s tires. Dragsters, of course, are the rail cars, they call them, and they had the engines in the back of the driver, and they were just straight line vehicles. You start at the starting line, and it shot straight out. And then you had the funny cars also that did that. They had the wide 50s or whatever the case it was. And those are super wide, no treads on them or anything. Okay, the front tires had the treads in the dragsters, but they were only meant for steering, a certain amount of steering also. So to keep you straight down the line, because there was a lot of power in those drag racers. And with that, I think I'm going to say that's about all I had to show with that. But remember, we're building the 007 Ford Mustang. Diamonds are forever. And we're going to try to keep it as close as possible to the look here that we saw in the movie. And we'll show you the progress as we go along, okay? I'm going to post all the information on this here about the background behind the 71 and the reasons why it was made, and all of that. So stay tuned for that. You'll see it on the website. And subscribe to the forum, and I'd appreciate it. If you guys send pictures of stuff that you've done or what you intend to do, and have some fun with it, and let others talk about it and talk amongst each others about it. Okay? All right. So thank you very much and for being on musclemodelcars.com, and I'll see you online. Okay? And we will be posting these videos also on our channel, musclemodelcars.com, but on the video, on the channel, it's going to be Muscle Model Cars on YouTube. Okay? That's our channel. So with that, we'll see you and have fun. And remember, I did to say also that this type of stuff here, I do it as a relaxation and focus. It helps the kids do it. You might want to try to get your kids started with something to keep their, if you don't want them in video games all the time and you want them to learn to concentrate this and focus, this kind of helps them maintain a focus and maintain some type of discipline to do neat work, particular work, different ways. There are different levels of it with these model car kits, from like a 1, which might be a snap type, meaning no glue or anything, all the way up to a 5, which means really intricate as far as the difficulty level. We don't suggest anything to anybody as far as what that is. It's what you feel comfortable with. You can start off low. I've been doing it since the 60s, but you may like doing it starting at a 5, a level 5, meaning it's really intricate. Or you might not feel too comfortable in just starting, and you start at a 1. Work your way up, okay? And then find out what works for you. Me personally, I like all varieties of things. So anyway, I'll see you on the website. I'm gonna be posting information about this Mach 1, and then I'll about the history of it and the power and everything behind it, and also the James Bond movie, Diamonds Are Forever, and anything else I can find while we're doing this project here. Okay, so thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. I don't want to put a date on it as far as when I'm going to post next about the Mach 1, but you'll see different stages of progress, pictures of it online, okay, in the project, on the project page. So, because we just finished up the Dirty Dancing, so we're going to remove that and start with the Mach 1, okay? Alrighty, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on MuscleModelCars.com.